Hi and welcome to Outwell and to our Venice coast awning from our Smart Air awning collection. It is a caravan awning and it will fit caravans between 2.4 and 2.55 in height. In terms of the space of the awning, it's 4 metres wide and to the outside edge here is 3.4 metres deep. The living space here is 2.4 metres, so you actually have a full metre of outside space underneath this canopy, which we'll show you in detail a little bit later on. So for me, what I want to talk about first is what sets this awning apart, which is our frame that we're using on here. So this is our one-go inflation technology and it's our Smart Air frame. So what that means is in place of traditional fiberglass or steel framed awnings, you will find that we have tubes that are inflatable. What we do is we supply the pump like this one here with the awning. And this is a double action hand pump, so every time you pull up or push down on the pump, you are actually inflating the tubes of the awning. You can keep an eye on the pressure that you're inflating the awning to with this gauge on top of the pump here. And what we would recommend is pumping it up between 8.7 and 11.6 psi, which represents 0.6 to 0.8 bar. So what that does mean is we're getting a lot of air into these tubes here and making them nice and solid. So obviously the more air that's in here, the more solid these are and the more stable the awning is. It is a very stable awning, and again we'll show you the detail on the inside here where we have the interconnecting beams on the inside to ensure maximum stability. So as I mentioned earlier on, the awning uses our one-go inflation technology. Now what that means is that from one single plug-in point for the pump, the entire awning will be inflated. If you want to see that in more detail, then we do have a film to show you how to erect the awning on our website as well. What I just want to show you is the valves in detail here, and they're quite clearly marked. So you can just see on the outside here, it says air in. Just underneath here is where you'll find the valve to plug in the pump, as I say, which will inflate the entire awning just from this one single location. But then what we have just underneath there, you can see quite clearly written here is air out. We have a release valve for the main beam here, and if I just come along here, the other beam at the front also has an air out valve. So what that means is you get really quick and easy deflation. So when it comes to taking the awning down, it's certainly very quick and easy to do. So just talking you through some of the features on the outside of the awning here. If we start off with the fly sheet that we use on here. So all the way around the awning, this material here, where you can see that the logo is embossed, is a 150 denier taffeta polyester. It's a really good quality material. All of the material has been fully PU coated on the inside, and then all of the seams are fully taped as well to ensure that it's totally waterproof with a hydrostatic head of 6,000 millimeters. So this is our Outex 6000 material. The darker shade of grey on top here is actually a 300 denier material, so that's obviously designed to last a good long time, and again obviously has been PU coated and fully sealed as well, giving you that hydrostatic head of 6,000 millimeters. Some other really nice features to highlight on here, we have large tinted windows all the way around the awning here. So what that does is serves two key functions. One would be to reflect the sunlight away from the inside of the awning, just keeping you a little bit more comfortable. And of course the second is to give you a little bit more privacy as well. So with the awning, you'll find that we supply you with the easy pegging system. That's where we have 3 different types of pegs supplied with it. We have the solid steel peg here, which are your anchor pegs for the 4 corners, and you'll find that these are pegged in through the grey pegging points. We then have the black plastic pegs for all of the black pegging points around the side of the awning. And we have the luminous peg, obviously, to go with the luminous guy lines and storm straps at the front. So in the name there, the easy pegging system, making sure that it's nice and easy for you to get the right peg in the right place. So all of the guy lines on the awning are all pre-attached and they are luminous as well. So hopefully that's going to stop you from tripping over them quite as easily. You'll also find that each guy line has its own retainer. So that's what this loop here is. So when it comes to taking the awning down, we just simply need to wrap up the guy lines in our hands and pop them in there. So the next time you come to use it, these are going to be easily accessible and not all tangled up in a mess. We also have good storm guys at the front here as well, just to create maximum stability. So something I just want to highlight is the porch area on the front of the awning here, or this canopy area, is created with the use of this Duratec fiberglass pole. So it just simply slides through the pole sleeve here and then attaches on either side to give you this front canopy area. And as I pointed out earlier on, it actually creates a full metre out the front of the awning. So that's going to be good for a little bit of shade or shelter, but also it covers the main entrance to the awning. If it's a little bit wet outside, then you're not going to get the rain coming into the front. So speaking of the front, I just want to talk you through some of the details that are on here, because we go to quite a lot of effort to ensure that you have quite a lot of versatility with the awning. So you can see here that we have the outside door rolled away at the moment. Now this can be fully opened up and rolled right back, and there you will find there are more toggle points there to keep that out the way. Or of course you can bring it the same as the mesh door behind here, or fully close as well. And what you will find on the front of the awning is that the windows again are large tinted windows there too. A great feature here is then we have a secondary door just behind this, which is actually mesh in the middle here and at that side. And if I rolled this all the way out here, you'd also find that there's another large mesh panel there. So that's going to allow lots of fresh air into the tent, but hopefully keep out those bugs. Stepping into the awning itself, I just want to highlight here that this can also be zipped fully open if you did want that fully opened up across the front here. So we'll just roll this up out the way to show you the inside. So stepping back into the awning, once the front is open up, you can see here that there certainly is a good amount of space. As I mentioned earlier, this living space here is 4 meters wide and is 2.4 meters deep. So plenty of space for furniture and storage units and things like that. What I just want to highlight to you is something that we mentioned earlier on, which is our one-go inflation system. And I just want to highlight it on the inside of the awning here. So you can see right from the front all the way to the back, you have these inflatable tubes which connect the main beams which run parallel with the caravan. At the top, you'll find that we have these valves. So what to do is once the awning has been erected, all we need to do is come inside and just turn these valves here to the off position like that. So once they're in this position here, you're actually isolating each of these beams, just so that in the very unlikely event of something going wrong, the whole awning wouldn't drop down. It would just be one individual beam that would be affected. But as I say, that's a very unlikely scenario to find yourselves in. So moving on from there, we'll talk you through some of the features on the inside of the awning, of which there are plenty of. First of all, I just want to highlight that we have side entrances on either side of the awning, and both of those also have a full zipped mesh door here. So that, along with the front door being mesh, you certainly are going to get a lot of ventilation within the awning itself, but again, hopefully keep out those unwanted bugs. So across this side here, I just want to highlight that I mentioned we have these large tinted windows around the awning, but I want to highlight that each of these windows has its own curtain. So you can just see here that we have it zipped up a little bit at the moment, but obviously we can fully unzip the curtains, and then this can be rolled away and toggled, or of course with them being zipped you can choose just exactly how much privacy you want within the awning itself, or of course you can fully close them as well. So a really neat feature of the awning is the fact that the ground sheet is a sealed ground sheet but can be removed simply just by unzipping it. So if you're at a caravan site that doesn't allow awnings with ground sheets, then it's very simple to remove. Just under here, you can see that there is a zip that runs along the bottom here to the front, and that would allow you to zip out this entire ground sheet. Of course, for when you can use your ground sheet, this ground sheet is going to provide you with a lot of protection. It's a good quality polyethylene material which has a hydrostatic head of at least 10,000 millimeters, and when it's zipped into place, it's going to keep this area totally sealed from any water. Hopefully it's going to keep out things like dirt, dust and sand, and again, more importantly, hopefully keep out those unwanted creepy crawlies as well. Also, while I'm here, I just want to highlight that we do supply the skirt along the bottom of the caravan here with the awning as well. So again, that's going to provide you with good protection from any drafts and things like that that are going to come from underneath. So just here, I'll show you a few other little details. So I just want to highlight that the two side entrances do have the full waterproof doors on the outside, and here is where you can see you can roll these mesh doors back as well. Just at the back of the awning, you will find that we have these steel poles in place, which again are supplied with the awning, just to give you a solid contact point at the back between the caravan and the awning. You can just see that you have a well padded sleeve behind this metal pole here, obviously just to protect the caravan itself. Now this is an adjustable steel pole. You can just see there's an adjuster down here, which is why, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, the awning can fit caravans between 2.4 and 2.55 metres. Now don't worry if you think that perhaps you'll have quite a lot of excess material if your caravan isn't as high, but there is actually an adjustable strap on the outside of the awning as well that you can just pull down to create a really good fit to that size of caravan. Something else I'll just highlight here is in the middle of the awning we have a lantern hanging point in a good central location, so if you do have a table and chairs out here, then that's a great area for it. And then you have cable tidies just to keep the cables out the way if it's an electric lantern with electricity cable running up to the top. So we have a couple of optional extras available for the Venice coast here. That would include the carpet that you can see here, which is a fleece carpet, just to give you a little bit more comfort underfoot. Now we also can offer you a footprint for the awning as well. Now what the footprint is a PVC tarpaulin ground sheet that would go down underneath the ground sheet of the awning. So it's going to be great for any hard standing pitches, perhaps if it's stony or gravelly, then obviously that's going to give you great protection for the ground sheet within here. Or if you are allowed to use the ground sheets on a soft pitch area, then it's also going to keep that ground sheet clean and dry. So there you have it then, that's all the features of our Venice coast awning from our Smart Air awning collection. Thank you very much for watching.